Alright guys, welcome back to another Opera Omnia video where we're going to be talking about a topic that I have been bringing about in a past couple of videos, and that is about the basically where LUFENIA Plus stands in JP right now. I have been briefly mentioning how LUFENIA Plus has not really been too much of a challenge, and I don't want people to immediately take that with like, oh, he must be saying like that. It's like, I don't want people to think that I'm throwing the E word out there. I don't want people to get the misconception about that, because there's reasons why I am saying that LUFENIA Plus has not been all that like challenging. There's a number of things that I do want to talk about in this video. And I do have a friend of mine who has been in a few of my videos in the past, because as a global player, I want to get his perspective, because LUFENIA Plus is going to be arriving in global here in about 2 months. And I want to know his thoughts on how he feels about how things are looking like in the JP side right now, how things are going to be looking like once LUFENIA Plus hits global in about 2 months, and just basically like how he looks at it as a global player compared to myself as a JP player, and how I'm experiencing some of these LUFENIA Plus fights and how I look at them, and I'm just like breezing through these fights with some of these like overpowered characters that we have right now. And it's just like, yeah, it's nice to beat up the bosses here and there, but it's just kind of like, I kind of wish there was a little bit of a challenge. So I have my friend Kaiden. He has been in a few videos of mine before. You guys may recognize him from his Kadaj videos. My friend, the floor is yours. Go ahead and reintroduce yourself once again.
Oh, well, thanks again for having me. I appreciate it. Name is Caden Cortez. I am another Dissidia Opera Omnia creator. I'm a global player as well. When it does come down to it, as Lost said earlier, I definitely have been fixated on Kadaj, no pun intended. But as far as like actually using Kadaj, he was, because when I actually watched the Advent Children movie, he was actually something that stood out to me a little bit more. And on top of that, like Kadaj's history, and on top of that, his character, like really reached out to me personally. So I definitely wanted to see him in action once he actually hit the global side. I know that on JP he didn't get a lot of notation, or he didn't get like a lot of screen time. So for me to actually see him in global, I really wanted to push him to the absolute limit. He was my first blue armor, and he's definitely going to be in my team for a while. Definitely going to be looking forward to actually using him a lot more. But as far as like unit in question, Kadaj is still very near and dear to me. And on top of that, Core showed up. Now Core is near and dear to me. So it's just insert random third for me from here on out. But that's about it.
So yeah, now since we have Kaiden with me, basically I'm gonna start off the video just talking about how I feel right now with LUFENIA Plus and JP, and then I'm gonna pass it on to him with how he feels about everything. And we're gonna briefly talk about a few other things as well in between, like the whole like situation of difficulty right now that's going on, and the upcoming difficulty or change in difficulty that is going to be happening in global. So when I say that the challenge is not really there in JP Opera Omnia, I mean it in the way of like the characters that we have right now. Ever since we got Crystal level 90, and I know many of us were hyped about the Crystal level 90 because we got the reworked EXs, we got the reworked C65s, and of course we got we were still in the BT Plus era even up till now. So we have all of these like powerful mechanics, and then once we got all of that, we got introduced to ultimate weapons, and that's when things really stepped up in the amount of power that we have today. And like as we continue to go go on throughout the next couple of weeks, throughout the next few months, the changes that a lot of these characters, a lot of like these older characters that have not gotten any love for God knows how long, uh, and all of a sudden just becoming monstrous beasts. Like it just shows like how powerful they have become once you take them into Lufenia Plus fights. And even if you don't take them into their own synergy fights, but into non-synergy fights, if you equip them with like the most powerful ultimate weapons, if you equip them with or if you team them up with powerful team comps, like the potential and power going up against these Lufenias or the bosses in these Lufenia Plus fights, it's like, it's like, why worry about the Lufenia orb at this point? You know, and just touching on the Lufenia orb, like the Lufenia orb in what, probably the last 5, maybe 10 Lufenia Plus fights, they have been non-lethal. So like you can take the hit, you know, you may take about 25% of your HP, you may take 50%, or you may even take 75%, you know, just depending on what the fight is. But like you are able to survive Lufenia orb attacks, you know, and to some, it might be great. It might be a good thing, you know, to newer players, you know, it's perfectly fine. In my opinion, it's perfectly fine because, you know, obviously you're going to have to learn to fight. But I mean, like, you know, to veteran players like myself, I just don't really see much of, I don't see like the challenge as to how it was previously when we used to just have regular Lufenia fights. Like, and especially now with the overpowered characters that we have now, like if you've seen some of my gameplays, if you've seen some of my Lufenia Plus runs that I've uploaded on my channel, and you've seen the insane amount of numbers, the constant 1 mil that I do with just regular skills, not even LDs or even EXs, but even skills. Like, it just shows that like we have so much power in our hands. It's insane, you know, and it's just, and it makes me like just look at these fights like, oh, okay, new fight, great. 30 minutes later, okay, done. It's like what, you know, I'm just like, where was that challenge? Like I myself, I enjoyed the challenge. Like I like a challenge here and there. I like a break from time to time. Don't get me wrong. I do enjoy a nice break here and there, but I kind of feel like things have been a little too simple. I feel like things have not been the same. Like I'm not asking for like something like a tremendous increase in difficulty. Like that's not what I'm asking, because I'm not trying to throw my phone across the room. I'm asking for like something where like you know, where it used to be like the good old days, like, or at least like maybe making like the Lufenia orb at least like nuke us, like instantly wipe us, you know. So like at least we know like, hey, we actually have to pay attention to the orb once again. So that you know, at least we know like that's one thing that we actually have to pay attention to, compared to now where it's just like, oh, we don't have to worry about it anymore. Now, before anybody decides to throw the comment out there, well, you probably use Ico. No, I do not. I just want to throw that out there, that I do not use Ico at all. Why? Because I do not need Ico. Same, you know, and I could say that for a lot of characters that would make a Lufenia fight so much smoother. Like, take example, Setzer, right? Setzer that's coming up to global right now. You know, oh, yeah. I use Setzer maybe 2 or 3 times max. Why? Because I consider Setzer to be a cheat card. You know, Setzer would be like my final trump card, you know, like my freaking Exodia from Yu-Gi-Oh, where I just give up and I'm just like, you know what, here you go, bam, we're done. You know, that's just the type of player that I am. Everybody is different in terms of this game, but the way that I look at it, you know, for my gameplay, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, which is why, you know, we're making this video, because of course we want to know your guys' opinions, but whether you play JP or global. You know, we want to make this video because, like, you know, we just want to express like how we feel about like the not really the situation, but just really like how we feel about like the just the overall like where things stand right now in JP.
So to piggyback on that note, uh, talking about uh, things up and coming for global, I'm very, very fortunate to definitely say that as a global player, we do have the great ability of foresight for us. We can definitely see what's coming, know how it's going to be coming, and know how to handle it. However, I did definitely say more than anything else, like once we do get these occasional global first pop-ups, like core being added, that kind of sort of derailed a lot of people's pool plans for some reasons than others, just because a lot of people were taking into the account that he's a new variable that nobody really knows about, and the only real way to actually learn about said variable is to actually use it. Um, when it does come down to it, I have seen a lot of interesting takes and a lot of interesting back and forth about how core and future units are going to be able to interact with one another, or better yet, just how future Lufenia Plus is going to be for us as global players. As Law said earlier, is current Lufenia right now, the way that we deal with them in global, we have to watch them because as soon as that hits zeros for us, we're going to get hit hard, if not just outright die. Where JP has Lufenia orbs that even if it does hit zero, it doesn't outright kill them, it just hurts them. Or the recent Lufinia that came out with, I believe it was Edgar's LD as well for his showcasing, it actually deleted your allies' turns, your the whole team turn
Hmm.
when that Lufinia orb goes off. So that one was actually very dangerous along the lines of what the Lufinia orb did do. It may not have been lethal, but it was definitely painful enough for you to realize that if you didn't have a unit that could heal on enemy turns or that didn't, that definitely helped teammates who dropped below 50%, because I think Lock BT was on that as well, and Lock's BT effect handled that to some degree, and Aiko definitely being there definitely helped out too, but I think she came a little bit after that.
Hmm.
And forgive me, I'm not exactly on the JP train or release information, but I know that with Edgar being there, he got a very monstrous rework. Edgar getting that LD did very, very good, strong things for him personally. But when I am looking at from JP and looking at Global's approach to certain things, I can definitely say that when I have watched Lost participate in fights that are just coming out, those can be very, very frustrating because to see that they're going into those fights blind, they actually need to be able to figure out and determine like what makes the orb tick, uh, what causes it to tick up. We already know anytime that we act, the orb will go down by one. Anytime the enemy acts, it'll either go down by two, or like where we just had the global event, Divine Brothers, that Lufenia orb dropped. I think it dropped by three if you actually let them act. So that was very interesting to see. Uh, in retrospect, once it does come down to it,
Hmm.
as a global player, I definitely can say, with foresight, it definitely helps. But there are still some people that I know that I work with on occasion in other Dissidia Opera Omnia discords that still need help from time to time because they may have very powerful units, but they don't know how to incorporate these units in question because the Lufenia orb it's very, very difficult to work with in some situations more than others. In JP, I know that Lost has said it's not as challenging because the orb is it's there. It's kind of just there. Where for us as global players, it's there and it's very, very like, it's there and it's very, very prevalent. Ignore it and you will die. Like that's just facts. That's just how that works. Uh, so it does kind of sort of make the games two different playing grounds currently. Because where we have things in global, we do know that JP players have come up with strategies. A lot of people tend to use what they already know that works. But for other content creators who I know that are here in global currently, they are definitely using out of the box strategies, not taking away from JP, but it's very easy to use what has already been shown, but it's harder to explore the unknown. And I know a lot of people who have told me, um, why are you still using Kadaj? And I'm like, it's not a why. It's more like what my preference is, and I have like we all have different play styles.
Oh yeah.
Um, and and everybody is sitting here saying to me, but he's like a detriment to your team because he has, well, thank God, I appreciate the DFO community for helping me get Kadash EX fixed. Thank you for that. But I will sit here and say that to be able to control the enemy brave on demand with just fixation at one stack, even if he is targeting, like even if he is going in between his targets with fixation at 5 stacks, you can control it a whole lot better now. And on top of that, the team comp really matters in this situation, especially for Global in particular. Your team matters, and the people that you put in your team, if you are running like a Saga series, or if you're putting just like your favorites in, or if you're just wanting to roll with whatever you need in order to handle LUFENIA in particular, as long as you have your team comp that really, really melds well together and they cover each other's weaknesses, any team comp can work in any fight. But as Lawson said earlier, in JP, you can literally just throw that one character in and just null that orb. Like Beatrix currently, she just got her crystal level 90, and my God, looking at her, that HP reduction. It may be 2 turns now, but because she has instant turn rate, it's still technically 1, but it does apply now for 2 turns.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see her just straight up block like the orb, LUFENIA orb going off is ridiculous to me, because I'm like, we can't do that. She can do it there, but we can't do it here. And I'm like, there's so many things that I am very, very happy about seeing in the future, but there are some things that I am concerned about seeing in the future as well, because it isn't, for me, it isn't the power scaling of the units. It's mostly the interactions between the units and the bosses. Because I've seen a lot of people say, or I've seen a lot of people do, delay routes. And don't get me wrong, I'm not against delay routes. I've done delay routes when I've done Ultimecia runs, and I love Ultimecia as an actual unit. Like, I love her. I would definitely run delay routes too, but I found myself enjoying when enemies are acting more and actually being active participants in the fight,
Mm-hmm.
versus them just standing there being meat bags, and me just punching up on them every other second. I really do like to interact with the boss's mechanics, so that way I learn how to interact with the boss, so that way if other players who do not have these cheese characters or characters that are like coming up, as we said, Zetzer makes a lot of DPS units, or a lot of units in general, go from hitting 1s to hitting max brave caps.
Yeah.
Like, Setzer is an enabler who comes out at a very, very strong time because of who his bannermates are, and I will not take away from him. However, I feel like there's a lot of people who feel like they don't really know how he interacts. They just seen him used a lot. And if they see him used a lot, he must be good because he's being used in these areas.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, nobody really understands what he's doing, but they're seeing rainbow numbers, and it's coming because he's in the group. Like, if you're seeing that, it's just like, he must be the reason why this is going on. In a lot of cases, I can definitely say that you definitely want to do your own research, because there's a lot of units that do their own things that a lot of people don't know about. I've actually had a very recent situation where I had a friend of mine that was running Fujin, and I remember seeing in his comment sections, somebody actually said, Fujin's C65, or her AA, can actually delay unit? They didn't know that. It's like, a lot of people really should do their own research about how they should go on about, like, going forward in LUFENIA. And I know that it may seem hard now, but current LUFENIA Plus is going to be coming forward soon, and that's going to be an entirely different horse. That horse is mean, it will kick you, and you'll most likely lose teeth. But at the end of the day, you have to be able to roll with what you got, and you have to understand what each unit brings to the table. We're not looking at units for their DPS, you're looking at how they can bring the most optimal damage to what they bring to the table. In this situation, all units DPS, like every unit DPS, in some way, shape, or form. Like even units that debuff, like Lila said, she's still offering something to the table, and I know a lot of people are going to say, well, she's outdated currently in global, yes, but there are other units who can enable other units to active or to be active in
Mhm.
current LUFENIA, and
Mhm.
core is just one of them. Zetzer's going to be one of them. I there's more to come. So definitely want to definitely want to end on that note. I don't want to beat that horse too bad because there's a lot more to be talked about here.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, I mean, like, and you know, like you said, that's plenty to talk about. Um, Now there was another thing that I wanted to mention, and it's actually related more for him. But I can also pitch in a little bit as well, and that's really how are you feeling once Luffy Plus comes to global? Like, do you think you're ready for all the all of the shenanigans that's about to come in for like the first what 2.5 months of
I
random
will
shenanigans that's coming up?
I will be honest. I am a firm believer in the challenge. I do like to be able to think on my feet. I am a tactics, like I am a fairly decent at tactics once it does come down to my team comps. Uh, I tend to be a little stale because I do run Kadaj everywhere, but when it does come down to it, I definitely believe that if I have to, I'll do what is needed to make sure that I get through Lufinia Plus. Um, when it does hit, I know that Lufinia Plus, when it does hit, the first one, I believe was around, got it when she got her LD, and she was just like she was just the warm up one when she got that, and it was against Shinryu. I think the first original one was Divine Pandemonium. Divine Pandemonium,
Yes.
that one introduced a lovely mechanic that I was an absolute fan of. Like when I first saw it, I was just like, "Oh my god, please keep this in." And it is the mechanic of if the boss hits a certain threshold, a certain HP threshold, it doesn't matter whose turn it is, the boss will just slap you.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And I love that because not only do I have to pay attention to what's going on and how I pace myself throughout the fight, if I have a unit that just attacked that had 0 brave and the boss just hits me in the face, not only is this unit taking a break, but that unit taking a break adds to the break counter, the break bonus for the boss as well. And on top of that, that just puts you in even more trouble. It puts you in even more danger. And for me personally, I guess I'm a danger junkie to some degree, but I will definitely say more than anything else, I like when bosses actually are participating in fights. Um, to actually let the boss participate, for some people, they're not interested in it. For me, it makes me very happy when a boss can hit me with his best ability, and I know it good enough to where it'll hit me for one. I'll take it. Like, when it comes down to this game, I love tanks, I love DPS, and I love debuffers in particular. I'm a massive fan of supports, but there are current supports coming up that are going to be ridiculous in what they offer to the table, and I'm just like, you're still being the first BT plus along with Zidane. I'm looking forward to that because I cannot wait to run Yusola back again. But also, Beatrix is going to be getting her LD board. Definitely looking forward to her. I don't know how I'm going to look like. I don't know how I'm going to actually put all my team comps together, but I'm definitely looking forward to Lufinia Plus in particular.
Mhm.
The I want to name, or I guess in this case, I want to like name drop the ones I'm definitely looking forward to. Uh, like Shulk's, uh, yes, Shulk's Lufinia when it hits global, I'm looking forward to because Shulk is that Lufinia Plus got a lot of rep for you actually need to pay attention to your turn,
Oh
your
God,
skill count.
yes. God, yes.
Your skill count is
Woo!
important, and
Talk
that's where
about
you
being
actually need to get.
focused on a fight. My God.
Yeah, that's the one that I'm looking forward to. Vayne's BT and LD showcase, that Lithuania Plus, I'm looking forward to as well.
Hmm.
Just because it's literally the exact same thing as Alexander, just not a giant Brave Gain shield. You
Yeah.
just can't act a certain number of turns before the boss jumps in front of you. And what makes me so happy about those fights in particular is that it literally comes down to team coordination, damage per turn, maximizing damage on turn and off turn. And since we have gotten a whole lot of new toys to play with, especially in global. Core Bang here again, 100% love Core. Uh, I can't wait to actually run him in those situations because a lot of those bosses really have like a lot of all skills. And Core being there, he's going to be able to attack on turn and off turn damage. I cannot wait to test.
Mhm.
And for me personally, it's just going to be my own style going up against LUFENIA. And my whole thing is I want to see how my style goes against LUFENIA Plus at the beginning. Uh, Later down the line, I already know that LUFENIA Plus is going to change, but I'm still looking forward to still placing my style against it. That's pretty much in a nutshell how my play can it either destroy it, break it. I'm like almost like I beat the fight by the skin of my teeth type of deal, or it beats me. Like I'm looking forward to see how that works.
Yeah, I feel like this time I'll be more prepared mentally because of my experiences that I've already had with these fights in JP. But at the same time, I'll also be prepared as well, knowing that I've considered possibly doing the opposite of the decisions that I made in the JP side, and yeah, doing the complete opposite of what I did in the JP side and doing it on the global side. Like example would be like for the Pandemonium Divine, instead of BT plus and use Tola, I would BT plus a Dane. And then for let's say Transcendence 5, instead of BT plusing Bards, I would BT plus A. So, kind of like, play a little game and see how that would work, and see how the outcome would be between making different decisions uh, on both versions of the game. But just me having that knowledge and like knowing how these fights work does give me a bit of an advantage. But at the same time, it does help me, because it'll help me in helping global players, and like letting them know like, hey, like you should look out for like this and that. And then like, if you have trouble with this, you can maybe try this and that, because like, believe me, like in the first few months of Lufenia Pluses, it will be tough. And you may get stressed out, and that's about the time where you should put your phone down. So, um, believe me, like I have been there. Like people who have been to my default live streams before, like especially like if you like, if Guidance has seen this one. But like if you were there for my Shiva Divine run, like I did not have Jekt. I did not have his BT, and his BT would have been a tremendous help against that fight, but I did not have it. But somehow, some way, I still managed to build up a team, and I still managed to beat Shiva after God knows how many tries, but I still managed to do it. So, I mean, it's definitely a challenge. The challenge will always be there, but there's always a way to beat a fight. You just really just gotta go like above and beyond, and like really think, like if you really want that win, like me as that's the bad thing about me about this game, is the completionist in me. Because if I see a clear and not a complete, it bugs the hell out of me. I'm just like, that needs to change. I need to beat this fight. If not, I cannot sleep at night knowing, well, I can't, but like I cannot sleep at night just knowing that it's not that it's not complete, and it triggers the hell out of me. But no, I feel like now on the global side, like I think I feel like it'll be a smoother time, but at the same time, I'm gonna be putting some more effort into helping global players to hopefully have a much easier time. Even though global players have definitely surprised me with a lot of team comms and shenanigans in a lot of these fights that I thought was gonna be a bit tough for them, but a lot of you guys definitely have come through and done some crazy stuff that I have thought of doing.
On that, like I really want to touch on that. I have a couple of friends who I definitely know that play both JP and global, and when I was looking at them participate in fights with JP, I remember one of my friends specifically said, Queen's character event at the beginning of this one that we just got here
Mhm.
was going to be terrifying as global players. Like, be afraid because the beginning of the fight is horrible, and the orb is very like I've heard plenty of content creators say this orb is very toxic, and I was just like, okay, I guess Queen's LUFENIA is going to be something that's going to actually make me think outside the box. I
Uh,
may actually need to switch out some people. Uh, when I actually got to it myself and actually seen it for myself and actually for me to do it, like my first run of it, I used Core, Kadash, and I did use Paladin Cecil for that. And it's been a while since I actually used Paladin Cecil, and I was just like, okay, I need a regen orb because I really don't want to run delay here, but I'll take a Cloud Darkness friend. How bad could it be? It Core changed a lot of the variables for global currently because JP didn't have him, and they didn't have like they switched up their routine a lot because
mhm.
everybody wanted to check out that brand new unit. Everybody wanted to see what the brand new unit could do. I know that there wasn't a lot of diversity, but there was definitely enough of people clearing it to where people were clearing it with absolutely different team comps. To actually see a lot of people use Bosch, and Bosch just makes the LUFENIA orb just null. At that point, you can hit the group, but you can't kill Bosch. And if it was
No.
like 2 HP dumps, then yes, you could kill Bosch, but it's only 1. So Bosch is just like, yeah, no, you can hit me with it. That's fine. Come on, bring it. uh, but when it does come down to it, I did plan around it, and I was just like, the first HP threshold, I'm gonna tank it, and I'm gonna use Paladin Cecil with his LD to give increased damage overall, and on top of that, the defensive values that come from his buffs as well. Core partnering with Gadash just to increase defenses as well. I went in full on defensive and wanted to see like how I could counteract the offensive capability of them. Stigma being there definitely helped me more than I like to admit because Stigma being there, that attack down is very massive. It's 20%, and on top of that, his high armor also gives the additional 10%. Sorry, 20. Oh no, sorry, it's 10 because the defense value on his high armor is 20, where the other stats are 10% down across the board. On top of that, fixation also kind of kicks into place as well
Mhm.
because fixation, they'll do a brave gain before they'll actually attack, and you have the brave gain in total. So it really didn't do much. And even if it did break a barrier, it didn't do enough damage to where it actually mattered. So I don't think I lost a lot of HP. I don't think it even went down below 50% in that run. But as soon as I put the Cloud of Darkness friend in, it's like the Cloud of Darkness friend just does so much damage. And if you put Core, Cloud of Darkness, and your BT character in the middle, and whatever BT character you're using is pretty much going to be easy upward to like that 2 mil spot because it's 3 bosses. And it's like they're for me, because I was using Paladin Cecil, he wasn't as. I definitely tried to use as much AoE as possible. I think he did 2 mil somewhere in there, but again, the variables for global has changed with Core being here to the mix, and on top of that, a lot of people bringing out a whole lot of different units to play. Because I remember Black Nero did one earlier where he actually uses Kieran, and I haven't heard anything since his LD and Lost Chapter came out, and I don't think I've seen anybody run him. And to see Black Nero run him was actually very great to me, just because of the fact that I do like Kieran, but I just could never find how to like really utilize him because he has fantastic auras, and a lot of people do not give him more credit than he needs. Like, he has fantastic auras. He doesn't have brave damage increase or HP damage increase, but he has a lot. He definitely offers a lot with that LD buff, phenomenal buff, and that LD rework he's coming up with is going to be great too. But to see people be very creative with how they do things, uh, definitely learning a lot from other players as well. That a lot of things can get through with good team comps.
That's true, and it's you know, that's I always give props to a lot of players who be doing some some different
Ridiculous runs.
yeah. Like I look at it and I'm just like, how did you make that work? Like props to you, but like damn. It's like all right, like GG to you. um
I, Go ahead.
so no, so I was gonna talk about something else unless you wanted to add something to that.
No. You go ahead.
Okay.
All you, bud.
So one other thing that I wanted to mention about like the whole like difficulty and everything, like how things have been pretty chill uh in JP, was the fact that we are coming to a close on all characters having LDs. Like if we, if we take a look at the character roster, there are about less than 10 characters left that need LDs, and that's it. So with that being said, I was telling this to Kaiden earlier. I'm thinking that there is a strong possibility that we could potentially see a new weapon tier coming very, very soon, possibly here in the next 2, maybe 3 months. And if that's the case, then I could definitely see a potential difficulty increase as well, depending on like what this whole weapon tier is going to bring about to the game. uh and if you are new to Opera Omnia, just like in general, whether you play Global JP, like what they have done in the past whenever they introduce new weapon tiers is they would increase the rates of the previous ones whenever they introduce new weapon tiers. So if they were to introduce any new weapon tiers, the LD rates would most likely go up, so you'd have a much higher chance to try to get those. And then anything before that, before that, I would also get a rate increase as well. But I personally think that there is most likely going to be a new tier of weapons coming to the game. And so with that, I feel like maybe they are giving us these overpowered character because maybe, just maybe, they might just throw a crazy stupid difficulty that might just be like stupid insane. I don't know. Like, what do you think?
For me, when I look at it, I definitely feel like if they were to incorporate a new tier of weapons, yes, I definitely 100% agree that the difficulty for JP should be definitely increased because Lufenia Plus gets steamrolled sometimes, and I'm like, that's just with the recent BT Plus units that just kind of come out. Don't get me wrong, you can definitely do current JP Lufenia because I've seen this done a couple of times with just LD only units. You do not need a BT plus in the main party. I've definitely seen people using very, very strong LD units that come in and support the team very very, very well, and they mesh well with one another, and they cover everybody's weaknesses. Like when I do see, or when I do think about them adding new weapons, I would not mind if they were to continue doing like World of Illusions weapons to give characters like extra like side benefits,
Mhm.
like Clown's World of Illusion weapon, him getting the ability to cleanse or dispel an enemy when he actually gets critical hits was actually very, very interesting to me to see like Zidane or to see like Edgar when you actually, I think I said that right. Yeah, Edgar. To see how they get stat bonus increase to the team as well with their Word of Illusions weapons as well. I
Mhm.
would actually I would definitely like to see that more, just because you don't need to add a lot to the kit, but like little bitty buffs here and there would actually be very, very decent.
Mhm.
Giving like unique character like retrospection to each unit, or playing something according to their original game. Like if you want to give like the standard 1535 EXLD or BT units candidates in the future, Like we already have to do character boards. There's already ultimate weapons. Ultimate weapons have to be crafted. Like there's a whole lot that kind of go into that. But for me personally, I would rather, if they're going to release a new weapon, because there's already 1535 EX LD that are
Mm-hmm.
already there,
Mm-hmm.
and an EX and an LD, that's 75k gems. I hope that it isn't something that's like mandatory, but I hope that it's something that if you do get it, it's just something that adds very, very nicely to the character or complements them very, very well. Like giving them some type of like hidden, like some hidden aura, or giving them some type of hidden or very, very neat mechanic that's adding on to it. Like if you like take Titus that's coming up, for example, Titus, one of those. uh, with that being the case, his LD is
Uh-huh.
very, very strong because it gives the follow up. Well, wait, let me make sure I get that right because I think the follow up comes from his winning spirits buff. Is that
Yeah, it
not right?
does. And you get the
Okay,
jack shot from his LD.
right, right. So that is kind of the most important thing. Like, if they were to increase or if they were to give out a new weapon, I would rather it be something that just adds to their kit, or just adds to them in particular, not like a brand new skill, but just something that makes them stand out a whole lot more. Because I know that there's a lot of people who compare units to other units, or they'll say like this unit does what this unit can do, different things like that. Like if they were to introduce a brand new weapon and it's just a weapon specifically just for this character, make it give it a unique ability to said character in question that only this character can do. Because there is a lot of motions. It would completely null a conversation of, well, this unit can do what this unit can do, when if they were to introduce weapons that just apply to this character in particular.
Mm.
Like Sephiroth and Kadash both have gold debuffs, but when it does come down to it, fixation is entirely different from cellular erosion. But stigma is kind of sort of the exact same way as cellular erosion as well. So kind of sort of, they both have it, but stigma and cellular erosion are different in comparisons to uh, cellular erosion to fixation. Like once that hit gold, that's an entirely different setup. uh, so that's nice, but I just, that's what I would look forward to ultimately. And
Mm-hmm.
if they do increase a new like if they do add a new difficulty, I would definitely want the difficulty to be, if they're gonna give it, don't change it. Because if you start off strong and if you keep making it like it gets easier over time, don't get me wrong, I'm a huge fan of chaos at the beginning versus chaos now. Like chaos now is just very much, I want more chaos co-ops because it has more HP. That's literally what I think co-op that chaos is now. It's just the more HP version of Cosmos. Don't quote me on this hot take, but I'm still sitting here saying that because it's like at the end of the day, like chaos has way more HP than its Cosmos variant. But
Uh-huh.
in more situations than not, Chaos is also hitting harder than the Cosmos variant as well. So I don't mind a good Chaos co-op, and I definitely don't mind a good Chaos. But if you're going to have Lufenia and Lufenia Plus, and there's one that has a very lethal orb, and the other one that's semi-lethal, but it's annoying to deal with because you can't really bring it up, because I think Sid Reigns, Sid Reigns Lost Chapter just came out in JP Up Omnia, and I have yet to see a completed run of that one without that orb going off. And I don't know, I don't know how the orb is supposed to go up in that situation. Because like I've seen a lot of people, or I guess in this case, I have seen like a lot of information on like the compendium, uh, Tomberry Troop. I've seen this fight there, but if it's just Brave Game go on your ally's turn, or at the
Uh-huh.
end or at the beginning of it, and if it only goes up by one, and it's like that orb has gone off in every video I have seen, and I'm just like, I don't understand what to do with you. Like, are you just meant to go up? Like, are you just there to hurt me? Because if you are, I'm fine with it. But I'm also sitting here saying that Slick kind of sort of annoying, but it's cool though. It's cool because I can't stop you, and I'm so used to as a global player watching the orb and keeping the orb in a good time. Or you DPSing so hard that you DPS the boss hard enough to where you can kill it before the orb goes off. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't like. Sorry. let me be more correct on it. It's very different to see a orb consistently going off, and you're just like, well, it didn't kill me, but it damn near hurt. Like, you might as well just like you damn near burned me to a crisp. And then it's like when you have BT units that are like locked, that stops you from going below 50% and puts you back at it. It can't stop a LUFENIA orb from killing you, but it can definitely stop it from almost killing you. So it's nice, but it's just like, man, if we're gonna make an orb that is meant to kill, make an orb that is meant to kill. Don't sidestep me. Don't two-step me. Just let me know what I'm getting. Like, if you're gonna sit here and tell me I'm gonna get a prize for letting you hit me, I want a cookie. But if you're gonna sit here and tell me that this orb goes off and it's going to kill me, then kill me. Like, don't slap me and then tell me I'm beautiful at the exact same time. That doesn't work. Like, I really don't like that. But you know what? That's cool. I can't argue with it. If that's what you guys want to do, I'm all for it. But you know, it does make Beatrix as a character stand out way more. It does make Locke as a unit stand out way more. It does make Aiko as a unit stand out way more. And that, you know, if they get dropped below 50%, instantaneously fixing that, or like Zach being there with his BT, all the group damage goes to him. He can't die while his BT effect is in effect, and on top of that, he eats damage for the team. It's like, I hate to say it, but it's like, wow, that is insane. And it's like, can Bosch get that at 90? I hope whatever Bosch gets at 90, I already know he can't die, but I'm like, I hope his C90 is going to be even epic. Like, I'm looking forward to everybody's C90. I just, when I do look at it, I'm just like, if you're gonna have an orb that we have to play by, keep it consistent. Don't be inconsistent with your stuff. Like, being inconsistent makes it very, very hard for me to be like, I like you guys 1 second, but then I don't like you guys the next. Keep it consistent. Like, make me continuously love you or make me continuously hate you. You decide, but just let me know which way I need to, like, just let me know if I need to get you flowers or if I need to get you, like, a gun. So, you tell me what to do. And I'll play by the rules. I definitely don't mind playing by the rules, but I definitely like being able to be creative. So that's my thoughts on it.
That's a perfect comparison.
I'm just simply saying, like, if you're gonna give me a blaring pink ball of death, let it kill me. Like, if you're telling me that when this hits 0, you die, I'm cool with it. Game over. I have played plenty of games that has introduced the game over screen because I did something silly. But I've also done plenty of games where they give you a game over because you didn't DPS hard enough. I play Final Fantasy 14. I'm a raider. Once you see that in-rage cast bar, you're just like, man, what did I do to see that? It's like, that is how I feel. Personally, that is how I feel. But that's about it, though.
It's either that or Square Enix has a thing that they enjoy seeing us suffer.
I don't think it's suffer, because I've played other gacha games. The other gacha games I have played, trust me when I tell you, this game is extremely generous. And when we get Abyss in Global, like Global gets Abyss, JP doesn't get it. I really hate that JP doesn't get Abyss. But it's like, there's so many fun things that happen in Abyss that you can just play around with it. And you're just like, oh, I just learned a brand new team comp, because Abyss forces you to use certain crystal colors, certain weapon types, and it's just like you got to dust some people off in order to meet those, in order to meet the Abyss requirements. Like, you're not always gonna be able to run Terra and Yang. You're definitely not gonna always be able to run Core neither. Like, in some fights or in some of the Abyss fights, it literally tells you bring two of this character and bring 2 of this weapon type, and it's like, well, that just knocked out half the roster because not everybody has the exact same crystal type, and definitely not everybody has the exact same weapon type. So you gotta
that's true.
Definitely gotta go with what you got.
That's very true. Still, Abyss can stay in Global because I can't stand it anyway.
Yo, I'm fine with it. Let me have more. Please.
Yeah. Cool. It sucks because I still have to do it in Global because I play Global. So either ways, I continue to suffer.
Like, the best part about it is I think the best abyss that we did get was the dual hand, because the dual hand was a absolute slap in the face. And because I did the first dual hand right, like I did the first dual hand without cheesing it, or like without doing like the whole terror thing.
Yeah.
I definitely learned where I learned what I could do, and I learned what I couldn't do. So when I did see it in Abyss, it was just like, all right, uh, glad I have Mog. I'm like one of 5 people who pulled Mog. I'm also happy that Kamari is a thing, because Kamari being there set up like completely and totally took care of both orbs, took care of both slots. So
Hmm.
you needed to use a black crystal, and you needed to use a spear user. So like that took care of that right then and there. Like Kamari took care of that,
Hmm.
and you could just throw in like whatever else you wanted at the time. However, you still needed to play by the orb that was in there, which still was water damage. You still have to bring water damage. But I've seen a lot of people just run through with, like, for me, I just use Mog, Terra, and Elnursh. Easy picking. Like, that one wasn't bad for me at all.
Yeah,
It,
yeah, I don't. What was it? Did I pull for? No, I don't think I have Bargain Goal or Aranea. So I forget what team I use to beat that fight, but like somehow I still managed to beat it.
I will never forget it, because that fight showed me that I can do that fight, and I did not need Terra's Burst. Like, I didn't need Terra's Burst then. It's very, very nice to have, and I think Terra's Burst is a very, very strong burst in particular. But for me, I'll get it when I get it, I guess. I just didn't need it for that particular thing. I'll definitely chase favorite bursts down without question. I chased your Stola, I chased Arden. They came to me naturally. I don't think I have the pity of burst just yet, but because I've just said that, I know that Square Enix is going to ask for my firstborn when Zach hits global, so I'll give it. Um, but outside of that, I can't, because all of my favorite units, if they do get a burst, I'm definitely going to chase. Like, I hope and pray that that Vincent's BT is something that's going to be monstrous, and I'm crossing my fingers, and I know that it's probably never going to happen. I'm going to die on this hill alone with the other 4 Kadaj users, but I hope that he gets one too. I can only hope and pray that he gets one, but I know he's not, because, you know, movie villain who's Sephiroth larva form. Like, I don't think he's going to get one, but
Yeah.
a guy can wish, a guy can hope, because like number one waifu to me, sorry, that was a very, very weird way of putting it, but number one favorite female character to me already has her BT, and that's just Stola. Like, I already pulled for it without
Uh-huh.
question. She got it, loved it. I don't even think I got to do, and it's like, with her BT plus, I'm ready. And if they were to be like, so you got to give me 3 ingots, you can have these. I want you still give me green. uh, you know, that's all I want for that's all I want for Christmas. And I'm not too sure when she's getting here. I think she's gonna be here in like 2 months, 3
Yeah.
months,
Yeah,
2,
2 months.
3 months. So I'll look for it when it gets closer to it.
Or hopefully whatever comes out in November for my birthday, it's something that I would like. So Square Enix, if you want to throw Tifa out there, that's fine too. So.
Wouldn't you and the rest of the world love to have TPBT in their back pocket? And the sad part is, I'm also going to be on that hype train to some degree. To some degree, I can't fully ride that hype train, because literally everybody and their grandmother is going to be on it. But I can definitely say that as far as that BT, I'm looking forward to it, because she already has Crystal over 90.
Yes.
I would love to see her do Final Heaven, and I kind of hope that they keep it to the Duodecim Final Heaven version, because that Duodecim version was extremely nice. Another one that I'm looking forward to that hasn't got anything yet is Prish. Looking forward to her, and I hope she gets something ridiculously fun. I hope that she gets something fun, but I can only cross my fingers and hope.
Yeah,
One more.
I was say
Go
I've
ahead.
never played 11, but like I do hope that Prish actually gets something. I don't know why, but like I don't know. Maybe I'm just one of the few people that actually enjoyed using Prish back in Cosmos Chaos days.
Trish, to me, even though I never really showed her on like the main channels, because when I do like my first time clear videos, I generally put them there, to not only have documentation for me, but to also try to help other people out too, who are like on the fence about units or who have questions about units, different things like that. Like when Prish came out with
Hmm.
Arciala, and when she got her EX Plus, I think when Arciala came out,
Yeah.
I definitely used Arciala, but I ended up going back and using Prish more. And I remember seeing Alfino use Prish in his runs, and Alfino really made Prish stand out to me from actually looking at him using her, and he used her in global and on JP, but he ended up using Lion a lot on JP as well. And I'm looking forward to Lion. I hope she's not buggy and she's global, but you know what? I'll take it. But going back onto Prish, I really hope that a lot of people actually look at her and see her as her own individual unit. And even if you don't know anything about her, try to look at their units and their own individuals' playstyles and how they are, like how they do their own thing. Because if you look at what another unit can do, what this unit can do, you'll be very disappointed, and you'll most likely miss out on a very strong unit that you didn't even know existed. You may not know anything about them, but in DFO, a lot of people don't know what some of these units are, or like who they are in particular. But as soon as they get them, the playstyle fits them, so they'll be very surprised. I would definitely say more than anything else, give them a try. Play around their 1535, and then see if you want to chase their EX and LD.
You know, talking about Prish makes me want to do like a Prish saga now. But then I think to myself,
I'll look forward to it. I'll like the video and subscribe.
wait a
I
second.
already did subscribe to you.
Oh, I see how it is.
Didn't mean to sell that underneath the table or anything, but no. I'm like,
No, I mean, like I've
definitely
actually, no, yeah, I've been like, I can see everybody doing their sagas, and I'm like, I kind of want to do a saga, but then at the same time, like, do I really want to suffer?
There's
And
nothing wrong with a good Kadar saga. Don't do that. Like, don't do that. It's saying I suffer. Like, to be fair, in every single run that I've done with Kadash, it has not been nearly as painful as other people have thought. But however, I'm using a up-to-date LD unit, and don't get me wrong, a lot of people will sit here and say that a lot of people have said that a lot of units will fall off. But again,
oh yeah,
when it comes down to it, a good team comp can make any unit work. And you're not building around one unit; you're building for the team.
oh
So
for
if
sure.
you have one unit that's there for debuffs, one unit that's there for support, you have one unit as your main DPS. If you can make an enemy hit for one like Vincent can, then do I really need a barrier if the enemies are only hitting me for one? Like,
All right.
Vincent got so much hate, and to see how he interacts with bosses and he just completely shuts them down, it's like, so another thing I wanted to talk about too was how there are a lot of people who give units who get an LD but didn't get a rework flat. And it's like, look at Orn. Orn on JP right now didn't get a rework but got an LD. That man is ridiculous. And I'm like, that's just looking at him where you did see a unit that got an LD and did get a rework. Like Lena, Lena went from a very strong Orb bot with debuff evasion and a whole lot of brave battery and healing to she can be a DPS now and actually be like a very decent DPS now too. It's like holy. Oh, I don't want to say that last part, but definitely want to sit here and say there's a lot more to every unit, and I think Square tries to balance to some degree. They try, but we got to at least give them that. They're at least keeping the game interesting to some degree.
Oh yeah.
I won't defend them, but I'll definitely sit here and say, hey, at least you're trying.
Yeah,
So I'll take it.
Yeah, you try, but you could do better.
Yeah, pretty much. That's ultimately how it comes down to, because I can definitely think about a couple of people who are still waiting on their favorites to hit the floor, and I'm thinking like, by me saying this, she's probably going to get delayed by like another year, but everybody's still waiting on Riku. And I hope and I pray.
Gosh darn it, you delayed it more.
Look, I hope and I pray when she does show up that she shows up and she shows out. Like, I really want her to do that, because if she shows up and she's bad, I know a lot of people are going to pick up pitchforks and torches, and they're going to be just all over Depot in particular. Oh man, like don't let Tifa be bugged ever.
Oh yeah, I'll be having pitchforks. I'm having buster swords and everything.
Oh God.
So,
Oh boy.
but I think with that, I think we're gonna go ahead and end it off with that. But yeah, I think we got our points out to everybody. Even though we kind of you know started
We
talking
jumped.
about other stuff towards the end.
Yeah, we jumped.
Yeah, which is fine. Um, but no, like we got our, I guess, like our main point across is, just kind of like express how we felt about like some of like the situations that's going on. Not really situations, but like some of our like uh I guess
Points of
concerns.
view.
Yeah, points of
Points of
views
view.
on like how things are looking like right now, like on the JP side, on the global side, what's coming up on the global side, what may be coming up on the JP side, and just overall just giving just thoughts and opinions. I mean, there's nothing wrong with giving thoughts and opinions. I mean, to each their own, of course.
Yeah,
So,
right.
and so of course, you guys are more than welcome to let us know how you guys feel about what we talked about in this video. And we both of us will be looking. Well, yeah, we'll be looking at the comments in this video and seeing what you guys have to say on what we talked about. So, with that being said, though, do make sure to check out Kaiden's channel if you haven't done so already. And if you haven't, then you are living under a rock. Just saying.
Not a rock.
So, but yeah, do go check out his channel. Like like he mentioned earlier, he loves his Kadash. He is a Kadash Simp. So
Oh, yo! I'm just saying. I want a 5. Let us be those glowing. Wait, hold on. I gotta think of the right word for this.
wait a second.
I'm like a glowing seahorse that's in the water. You don't see me too often, but when you do, you know.
Glowing seahorse out of all things.
Yo, I'm trying to think of something rare, okay?
You could have said a
Man, that's all I
mermaid
can
or
come up
something.
with.
I don't know.
No, I'm not a mermaid. I would be a merman. Different.
Merman, whatever.
Clean. And besides, I don't want to be Aquaman. I don't want to talk to fish. It's a neat power. It's a neat power. Don't get that wrong. And Aquaman, real strong individual. Me personally, no, I'm good. I'm more of a rich guy who likes to do combat in the middle of the background. Yeah, I'm Batman to some degree.
I was
Don't
gonna
want
say
superpowers,
Spider-Man,
but I
but
do have
all right.
natural abilities. Oh no, I don't have spider senses, unfortunately.
So, um, but yeah, make sure to check out his channel. Subscribe if you haven't already to his channel. And yeah, any last words, Batman?
um, Thank you, Vegeta. So I will definitely say more than anything else, do your own research. Definitely do your own research and figure out if you like the unit in question. If it's a unit that you do not know about, take time to learn about them. It cannot hurt you, and you will only be better because of it. Take time to also remember that your teams matter. It may look impossible to some people when you run your team comps, but if you have a favorite that you want to run them. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Because I've gotten plenty of people who told me the exact same thing, and I'm like, you know what? Kadash is still here. People told me that he was going to fall off, and he's still doing 300k. So I'll take it as a DP as a debuffer unit. He's doing 300k. I'll take it. So until next time for me.
So, but yeah, take care, guys, and yeah, we'll catch you guys in our next video.
Bye bye. Markiplier's gonna kill me.